Hello and welcome to this YourTown, Georgina Spotlight episode. Now, in this straight-to-the-point format, our guests, their organization, and their message is the star of the show. Now, I'm pretty excited for today's Spotlight focus, but before we get to that, let me acknowledge that my trusty partner, Ben, was not able to make this recording. And so I'll be flying solo for this one, and we'll look forward to Ben's return in the near future. So let's get to it. Now, I'm sure I'm not alone when I say that it seems like Mother Nature kind of flicked a switch as we got to Labor Day, and suddenly it's fall. Now, to be fair, we still got a week or so of summer. Officially, the fall season begins on September 22nd, but another season has arrived here and now, and that is hockey season. Okay, NHL preseason is a couple of weeks away, but as a good number of parents in our listening audience will tell you, the hockey season is already upon us. In fact, for many of them, it never really ended. So people refer to Georgina as many things. It was for a long time referred to as a cottage town or a bedroom community, a fishing town or an ice fishing town, or just simply a lake town, or maybe as a farming community. But at least as often as any of those references are used, so too is that Georgina is a hockey town. I mean, it's impossible to miss. That was the case 40 years ago when I moved here, and it's the case today. If you didn't play, you can bet your buddies did. And even if you didn't play sanctioned hockey, you probably played road hockey or cleared a spot off on the lake, or at the very least, you played shinny in the basement. And if you weren't a player of any kind, you were usually there to support your child, your sibling, your partner, or your pal. Now, technically, I fall into the non-sanctioned player category. It was mostly about racing when I was a kid, but hockey was still very much a part of my youth. I can tell you I shoveled off more snow from the frozen lake in front of my parents' place than I care to remember, just to strap on skates and knock the puck around a little bit. And I spent countless hours in driveways and on the road. I mean, I have to imagine that car has been yelled out more times in this town than most. So this year, my girls also got the itch and both played in the Georgina Minor Ball Hockey League. Now, it started with my 7-year-old, and my 9-year-old jumped into the mix a few games into the season. Now, since my girls have been asking me when they're going to be on the podcast, I figured this might be a good opportunity for a quick word. So, Cameron, Sloan, say hi to everyone.
Hi. Hi.
Okay, so what did you guys think about your first season of playing ball hockey?
I really liked it, but it was a little tricky at the first time.
Yeah, it was very fun.
Yeah, it was very fun. So what was the best part about playing hockey?
Like running like all the way when I'm leading it.
Really? Oh, taking the ball down the floor.
Yeah, down the floor.
Yeah, what did you really like, Cameron?
Having the ball and passing it or getting a goal.
Like passing it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you liked passing the ball to your teammates?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Okay, one more question. So would you play again next year?
Yeah.
100%.
100%. Oh,
definitely.
That's pretty good. What about strapping on the skates sometime and doing it on ice? What do you think of that?
Yeah. I mean, I could probably try.
I would try.
Okay, well, you know what? Maybe we'll add that to the list. But at least we know we can sign you up for the ball hockey next year. That's a good idea, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I love it. Okay, well, thanks for being on the YourTown, Georgina podcast, you guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, guys, thanks.
Well, there you have it. So it was a pretty big hit, and the hockey fire is lit in the McDonald household. So we'll see where this takes us. But I think I've made my point. Hockey is big in this town, and in some way, it touches nearly all of us. We've got so many great leagues and teams to support, but back in high school, I remember the big news when a new team was announced, a junior team for Georgina, the GEORGINA ICE. Now, you could argue that this is the pinnacle of hockey in our hockey town. The Ice just wrapped up their 30th season, and a great one at that, as we're now on the heels of the home opener of the 2024-2025 season. What a great opportunity to learn more about this team and its role in our community. It's also a great opportunity to help build the hype for what is sure to be another great season for our team. Here we go. It's my pleasure to introduce to the YourTown, Georgina podcast, the Vice President of Hockey and Business Operations, Michael Cornacchia. Michael, welcome.
Thank you, Rob. I appreciate the time tonight and having me on.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, now we have a little bit of a tradition on the YourTown, Georgina podcast just before we get to the topic at hand, which I'm excited to chat with you about. But typically the first question for our guests is, how did you come to make Georgina your home? Can you tell me just a little bit about that before before we get into the perhaps the more important topic in your mind?
Yeah, absolutely. So the way my partner, my wife and I came to call Georgina home was we kind of have a bit of a funny story. It's kind of like the Griswold and the Christmas tree. So we lived in Southern New York region at the time in Aurora, and we were getting to the point where, we want to sell the home and maybe look into something newer. We didn't want to renovate the house. We wanted to buy something new that was ours from the start, that we could kind of make it the way we wanted. So we were looking around, we went to Newmarket, we got priced out of Newmarket. We kept on driving further north, we got priced out of East Gwillimbury. Okay. So it was like looking at that last sign at the end of the highway. We got to Woodbine and Ravenshoe, and we actually were in southern, just right in Keswick around Ravenshoe, and you know what, we actually got priced out of there as well. So we just saw that final sign that said 10 minutes up the road in Sutton. We're like, you know what, we're already here. Let's keep going. So we drove to Jubilee at the time with Ballymore Homes, and we just fell in love with our dream home.
That's great.
And we looked at the floor plans and the models, and funny enough, it was actually the absolute last model that was available in the whole development.
Oh, you got lucky.
Yeah, we got very lucky. We went back a second time, and of course they put the price up another 10 grand. So we're like, you know what, let's jump on this. It's the last one was there. It's got to be a sign for us. So we bought the very last home, and we have been here ever since.
That's 10 glorious years in Georgina about.
We bought the home 10 years ago, and we've lived in the home for 8 years.
That's pretty great. I have to say, I think your kind of Georgina origin story is probably similar to a lot of folks. I hear that we got pushed a little further north, and just a little bit further north, and then lo and behold, you realize that, you know what, I kind of got lucky by being pushed here. I'm in this beautiful lakefront town called Georgina. That's a good story. We're going to get to another one right now. Of course, this episode is all about the Georgina Ice, and I'm particularly excited about this one. Now, I do want to also point out that these spotlight episodes, they're very often not just for the patrons or the fans of a particular organization. They're just as much about educating, enlightening the residents of Georgina on these great stories and these great organizations. And so I'd like to throw a few questions at you to maybe push us a little bit further up the learning curve with regards to the Georgina Ice. But also, all the while, I'm excited about what this discussion will mean as far as people's not just understanding of the ice, but the role it plays in our community pride. I mean, this is kind of a big deal. And I'm sure you would agree with that. So let me start off with my first question, which is, for those of you, maybe our listeners, I should say, that aren't immersed in hockey culture, but perhaps are curious to learn more. Can you explain, first of all, the level that the Georgina Ice compete at? So where do they fit in? Where does the ice fit in terms of the hierarchy of kind of hockey tiers?
So our hometown Georgina Ice is considered junior C hockey. So we play in the Provincial Junior Hockey League, the PJHL, and we are actually a part of the largest junior hockey organization in Canada. We have 63 fellow teams in our league. We have quite a number of divisions. And I think a lot of people kind of maybe would turn their nose up and they kind of say, oh, it's only junior C. But based on our community, our size, and kind of where we are, we know we can't compete with the Markhams and those larger towns in vicinities that have what we call is the Ontario Junior Hockey League, which is considered provincial junior A.
Right.
So we have, the OHL would be the highest level of hockey, and that's probably you're thinking the Oshawa Generals, the Peterborough Petes, and those maybe more familiar junior teams that people might know of. And then, it kind of trickles down to, out west, they have more of what's called the junior B area. And then, our smaller hometowns, we fit into that junior C level.
Perfect. That's really good context. Okay. Well, so I want to build on that just a little bit. And I'm hoping that you can share with us maybe a brief history of the ice. Now, you've got a great shirt on that I'm going to call out, established in 1994. So I'm already taking away like probably the first part of the story. But can you tell us maybe a little bit more about how the ice came to be?
So as you know, our logo does have is established in 1994. So that was our first season introduced into the league. And there's a gentleman by the name of Steve Sidor, who was our original founder.
Pretty well known name in Georgina.
Yeah, Sidors. the Sidors,
yeah.
The Sidors are big names around town. Sure. And Steve and his group were the first original founders of the Georgina Ice. And, you know, they really established the hockey community at the junior level here. And, you know, even till today, last year we celebrated our 30th anniversary. And Steve is still a member of our team. He's our assistant coach and an assistant general manager. Great. And Steve still has a very big, important role to play in the Georgina Ice today and the players and the team that we see currently.
That's awesome. It's nice to have that kind of consistency through all that time. Probably not all that. It's kind of difficult to keep people in one place for that time as well. So that's a good story.
That's right. And Steve is a very, you know, Mr. Hockey of Georgina. So he knows a lot of families in town. A lot of his former players are now living in town, and actually their sons now are playing for us. So, you know, the original captain's family was the Jenny Oles.
Yeah.
And now Jack is playing for us.
That's
so
great.
It's a multi-generational team.
Yeah.
And a lot of the same names that have been in the past and our original founding team are still playing for us.
That's really great. Yeah, I actually, I didn't share this with you in any of our communications in advance of this podcast, but if my memory serves me well, the original 1994 team, I was in, I guess, maybe grade 12 at Sutton District High School or somewhere around there, maybe grade 11. But one of my good friends, Brian Holt, played on that original team as a goaltender on the original team, at least for part of the season or one season. Again, I have to go way far back, but my connection to the ice sort of dates back to that original season. But some really good stories there, and it's good to know that not only is there that consistency, but we're also seeing a multi-generational experience in terms of the organization. That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. I mean, it's you know, grandfathers and fathers now, and their sons are a part of the team. And yeah, I think that's what the Georgina Ice is all about. It's always been about that local community, family oriented. And we are still fortunate enough to be continuing that tradition today.
I love it. Okay. Well, can I ask you, from your perspective anyway, what are some of the highlights? I mean, 30 years is a long time. So what are some of the highlights of the Georgina Ice? What can you share with us?
So I think some of the most significant highlights are we have won the Cougar Cup, or we have been final in the Schmaltz Cup is what we call our championship. It's called the Schmaltz Cup. You know, we were fortunate enough to win our division on a couple years in the past. And I think what Georgina is really kind of known for, or maybe not known for, we have the most number of players that have gone on to the NHL.
That's amazing.
Out of all of our league.
Wow, that's a pretty cool statistic.
Yeah, so I think that is pretty cool. And actually, two of our former alumni are still playing in the NHL today. Joel Hanley is now playing for Calgary, and Sean Walker, who is also still playing in the NHL.
That's awesome.
We had as well David McIntyre, and Brad Fogel now is a goalie coach with our Canadian national team.
That's great. That's great. Oh, well, this actually links to one of the other things I was curious about, which is kind of where the players for the ice typically come from. I mean, is it a mix of local? Do they come from afar? What does that look like, Michael?
So our team comprised currently is probably about 50% local.
Wow.
From Keswick, from Sutton, from Pefferlaw.
Nice.
You know, that kind of that region we call Georgina.
Yeah.
Probably some of our other players are from the GTA, So Holland Landing, which is not too far. We do have a few players that come from Toronto as well. So, all our players, I would say, are within about a 40-minute drive to the Ice Palace. Sure. And then, majority of our players are those hometown players that still go to high school in town. Yeah. They're well known around town. They work in town, and that's what I was saying earlier, is that we really have that nice community feel where people in town have grown up watching the players grow up from minor hockey. And I still, when I'm seeing fans and talking to fans, say, "Oh, I remember so and so when they were this young." And I think it's almost like the fans have almost watched and have seen the players growing up from kids into young men now.
Yeah, that's a great story, and I think that obviously something aspirational for the young players in Georgina as well, to put on that blue and white, and maybe hit the ice for the Georgina Ice at one point. I mean, that's a pretty cool goal. That something that they can look up to and look forward to potentially.
Well, that's exactly what we are all about. We are all about that grassroots and giving back to our community, about giving back to minor hockey. And then when the players and the minor hockey kids are coming to watch the ice currently, they're like, "Oh, I want to be there one day. I want to be number 77, or I want to be number 86." Yeah. And, they want to grow up and, have that blue and white pride, and then come back when they're at the junior level to play for us.
Yeah, really well said. Okay, I'm also really curious to know, now I have experienced it, but this is a little bit for the folks that haven't. For those that haven't been to a Georgina Ice game, I mean, what can they expect if they come out to support the team for the first time? What's that experience like from your perspective?
So I think what we've really made the Georgina Ice game nights into now is it's really a destination event for our whole community. We don't have too many things going on in Georgina on a Friday night. So we want to put on a great night, a great show, like a festival kind of theme. Yeah. We often have face painting for for the kids. We open our Blue Line Booster Club bar, which is above the ice surface in the Ice Palace Hall, where we serve alcohol for those 19 plus. And then on a Friday night, I think there's nothing better than maybe having a beverage and coming to watch hometown junior hockey.
Yeah, that's really well said. And I think you've kind of already hit this, but I'm just going to ask this one straight out. And if we're a little repetitive, that's okay too. But I think it's really important, especially in the context of this podcast. But why is the ice important to the community of Georgina? I mean, what role does it play in sort of our community pride?
I think when we think of, just Canada in general, our favorite pastime is hockey, whether it's watching, Hockey Canada beat up against the other countries. Sure. And kind of at our level, it's watching our town beat up on the other towns that are surrounding us. And I think that's our pride. Yeah. Keswick and Georgina has always been known as that hardworking, blue-collar town. And I think we still represent that when people come to Georgina from other towns, they know that they're in for a tough night. Yeah. They know that they're in to play against a hard-nosed team. Yeah. And they know that that Georgina is going to be it's going to be a tough night for the visitors. Yeah. And I think that's kind of what we represent, and that's kind of our our reputation. Yeah. I think that's kind of what people know Keswick to be and Georgina to be, as that hardworking blue collar town. And that's what we really try to represent still. We want to be that hardworking blue collar team, and we and I think our players do very well, and our coaching staff does very well.
So, okay, let me build on that for just a second, because you brought a couple of beauty jerseys in here, and I'm just curious. I noticed the trim on the shoulders, maybe a little bit different than I've seen in years past. Can you tell me a little bit about the approach to the ice jerseys this year?
Yeah, so this will be a bit of a peek for anybody who tunes in ahead of our home opener. And our theme, or the way our jerseys went this year, is we've kind of got a rap for the quote unquote Keswick dinner jacket. That's kind of, people are.
I've got a couple in my closet.
Yeah, that's it. I think everybody in town does. And, of course, I certainly do as well.
Yeah.
And so, we really own that. I think we listen to that and we're like, you know what? I don't think that's negative. No. I think this is something positive for our town. Mm-hmm. So we've actually introduced $5 dinner jackets. If you are wearing a Keswick dinner jacket, you get into a Georgina Ice game for an adult for $5.
That's great.
And I think when you see our jerseys this year, and particularly on our accent pieces and our trim, I think you're going to see maybe a little of a dinner jacket theme. And I think everybody knows, like I said, just previously, when you're coming to Georgina and you see all our fans with their Keswick dinner jackets on, it's a rough and raucous crowd.
Yeah, I think it's awesome and a great tribute. I agree. This is not the Keswick dinner jacket is nothing to shy away from. It is something to celebrate, in my opinion. I can't think of a better way. That's a really cool accent to the jerseys. I think you hit the nail on the head with that. So a couple of moments ago, you were talking a little bit about, hey, when the other teams come into town, they know they're in for like a tough night. It's going to be a tough night when they come to Georgina to play. Can I ask, is there a primary rival? Like, who is the primary rival of the Georgina Ice?
So I think in the last number of years, our primary rival, I would probably say right now, would be Clarington.
Okay.
We've had a lot of bad blood with Clarington over the last number of years.
All right.
They have been pretty successful and they have won our division the last couple of years. So, us coming, especially this year, of course, we want to win. We want to knock them off the top. Yeah. And so I would probably think right now it's likely Clarington, but we kind of have a little bit of bad blood with everybody. So, Uxbridge and Port Perry and Little Britain, we don't want to hold back with them either. Yeah. We want to, we want them to know that the Ice are coming, the Ice are coming in hot, so to speak. Yeah. And we want to beat up on everybody.
Okay. Well, I'm going to use that then as a segue to ask where we're kind of picking things up from last year. Now, I kind of know, but why don't we share with our listeners, how did last year go for the Ice?
So last year, like I previously alluded to, was our 30th anniversary.
Yeah.
And we actually had a franchise-breaking year. Yeah. We had some individual records were broken by our captain from last year has the scoring title, I guess, for the Georgina Ice history.
That's amazing. Yeah.
And us as a team, we had 30 wins in our 30th year, which is also a Georgina Ice franchise record.
Meant to be, eh?
It was, it's definitely meant to be.
That's great. So a lot of momentum coming off last season. So the next question then is, how is the 2024-2025 season shaping up? What should fans be excited about for this year?
I think this year especially, we have brought in some very high level players. We've brought in the former captain of the Stouffville Spirit, he was the captain of that junior A that we were kind of talking about. Mm-hmm. So he's coming to town. We've brought another couple junior A players into town, and our expectations, I think, from a management level and our coaching staff, is that we are going to have another great year. We want to do better than we did last year.
For sure, yeah.
And I think now some of the key players who we had were injured last year. In the back half of the year could not play. It's a hometown favorite, Ronnie Wiersma. He unfortunately got injured last year. He's back. He's fully healthy. And so, that's an added piece that we're going to be able to start the year with. Awesome. So I think we have a very deep lineup this year. And, certainly build off of our core group of players who are returning. They'll be playing together for the third, fourth year now. They're getting to know each other very well. And I think just the familiarity with everybody and the core group and how tight-knit our group is, because they are majority from Keswick here in town, and bringing in those key pieces, I fully expect us to have a very good year.
Yeah. So plus 30 wins, you think?
I'm going this year plus 30 wins.
Nice.
Continue breaking those franchise records and climbing up and to take our division.
Awesome. All right. You're building the excitement really effectively, Michael. So on that point then, if people want to learn more about the ice, they want to see the calendar, they want to come out and they want to support the team, where do they go for more information? I mean, how do we get people to these games?
So we got a really great social media. We have the number one social media in the league. We've also developed now to have the number one attendance. I think our games on Friday nights, personally, and I think from every single new fan I see, they don't want to miss the games. Everybody's coming to the games now.
Ice Palace, like what we'll call it.
Yeah,
call
the
it
Ice Palace.
Yep.
We kind of call it the Ice House. You know, it's kind of our house. It's our thing.
Yeah.
So, of course, we have our Instagram at Georgina Ice. We have our Facebook at Georgina Ice Junior Hockey Club. And then we have our X, or formerly as Twitter, at Georgina Ice as well. But we really hammer our Facebook and our Instagram.
Great.
And I think if you want to pay, and of course, our website, georginaice.ca.
Beautiful.
So if you're on our Instagram or on our Facebook, you're on our website, you're not going to miss a moment of Georgina Ice action.
Nice. Okay, well said. Now this, I'm going to timestamp this a little bit. This is going to come out immediately prior to the opener. When is the let's just call it out.
Yeah. So we're having our 31st home opener. Will be next Friday night, September 13th.
Beautiful.
We have a big night for our fans. We're going to have a live on location with our partners, K Country. Mm-hmm. We're going to have some giveaways for our fans. We're going to have our Blue Line Booster Club open. We have a new partner for that this year. And we want to have a sellout on our home opener. So we want everybody to come out. See, if you haven't been there, come see what the Georgina Ice is about. Yeah. And for you that have been there, you know what to expect. Bring the noise. And let's cheer on our boys to another great year.
I think that's a great note to end on. I think that, hey, whether or not you're in it to support our town and develop that community pride, or you just don't want to see some awesome, entertaining hockey, well, you got to come out and cheer on the ice, right?
Absolutely. The Ice House and the Ice Palace is the place to be on Friday night in town. So everybody's there. Come see your friends and get loud for the boys.
Awesome. Michael, thank you so much for being part of the YourTown Georgina podcast. And hey, we'll see you at the ice games.
Awesome, Rob. Thanks a lot for having me.
Cheers. Well, thanks again to Michael Cornacchia for joining us and not just educating us on our hometown team, but also building the excitement for what is sure to be a great season. Make no mistake about it, the Ice have momentum, and if you haven't been following the team up to this point, there's no better time than right now. And remember, bring that Keswick dinner jacket, wear it with pride, and get $5 entry into the games. You can catch your Georgina Ice on Friday starting at 7:30 p.m. on our hometown ice at the Georgina Ice Palace. And as Michael said it, bring the noise. Okay, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And of course, subscribe, and if you like what you hear, rate and review us and help us get the word out about this great town. With that, let's turn it over to our good friend Bernadette Connors. We'll see you next time. Miss you, Ben.
I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, I'm a lady of the lake. I learned to drive on a dirt road, and I got all it takes. I see myself in the water, and my footprints in the sand. The moon can push and pull the tide, but this is where I stand. Georgina, I could never really leave ya. I've been all around the world and still you bring me back again. Georgina, I've got friends in the city. They've got a tower and everything. I tried it out for a little while, but where you don't have roots, you can't grow could never really leave you. I've been all around the world and still you bring me back again, Georgina. When I'm gone, I dream you. Late at night, later on, you're always on my mind, Georgina. Should I stay or should I go? I'll always be scared of the great unknown. I see myself in the water. I see myself in the water. Georgina.